Welcome to the relationship funnel training. Today we're going to go through all of the steps of the relationship funnel, and then at the end I'm going to give you an example of how I've used this in the past. I'm also going to give you a checklist so that when you're planning your project, you can follow along the funnel. So let's go over the steps of the relationship funnel. Attention and awareness, segmentation and personalization, engagement and communication, and finally loyalty. I specifically do not mention sales because I'm not a sales expert. I'm not going to pretend to teach you how to sell or how to close a sale. This funnel is a way to build strong relationships with your clients and potential clients that will lead to sales. I also want to relate this specifically to a project that you would be working on or a goal that you want to work towards, using relationship funnel as a sort of checklist to keep your project on track. So the first thing I want you to do is choose a project or goal to focus on while we go through all of this. My goal is to promote a new offer. You're going to see this in action over the next couple of weeks because I have a new offer. And as a matter of fact, this is my first step towards promoting that. I'm bringing awareness to my offer by providing training on something that is included in the package. So first let's talk about attention and awareness. If you want your audience to be aware of your offer, all you really need to do is tell them about it, right? But to get them interested in it and continue to give your offer attention, you need to create something that will make them want to opt in. So the first step of attention and awareness is creating free content that relates to your offer. This could be anything from a downloadable checklist to a free webinar. Once you have this free content to share, you need to get visible. Start by sharing it in your own social media and in Facebook groups that you're a member of. Visibility is about staying consistent and continuing to provide value. So, for example, I first shared this relationship funnel as a blog post to my email list, in my Facebook group, and on Instagram. The continued value is this training, which will be followed by additional content that supports my offer. You can also run ads. I'm not going to get into that because I'm by no means an ads expert, and I don't even currently run them. This is my first launch for this offer, and I'm intending to do it all organically. Okay, so we've created a freebie, we've shared it wherever we can, and we've started getting new subscribers that we are continuing to provide unique content to. Next, we're going to focus on the email list because that's really all we actually own, and exactly why you've heard people say email lists are like gold. This is where the relationship is really starting to be built. You want to get to know your clients so well that when you send them an email, they feel like it was meant just for them. That's called personalization. But how do we get personal? We ask questions. One way to do this in any email client is to basically ask a multiple choice question. Using tag buttons in your email for the reader to select from, you're automatically grouping them into categories or segments. You can add a tag to any link in your email. So for example, when someone clicks the link to my blog from my email, they're tagged as blog click. This shows me that they're interested in the content I'm providing. I can then see which blog posts were more attractive to my audience than others, and I can choose to provide additional content on that topic. I can also look at a subscriber and see how many tags they have. Once a subscriber has a few tags, I add them to a segment that I call engaged subscribers. I know that these subscribers are more interested than anyone else on my list, which means they are also the most likely to sign up for my paid content. I also tag my Facebook group link in emails. When a subscriber clicks a link but doesn't sign up, I can ask them why. This is where those buttons come in handy. I can simply give them a few choices to find out what made them decide not to join and invite them to reply to me if the reason isn't listed. Subscribers who don't click on anything are just as important. Stick them in a group of unengaged subscribers and ask them questions like, are you interested in this topic? Do you enjoy the emails I send? Do you want to learn something else from me? And the all-powerful, how can I help you? When you ask these tough questions, you're finding new pain points. And then you can create solution-based content. Okay, so you've got people signed up, you're starting to organize them into segments, and you're asking them questions so you can continue to personalize their emails. Now let's get them engaged. The thing to remember with engagement is two-way communication. Two-way communication is the absolute best way to build a strong relationship with your audience. If you're asking questions and they give you a response, continue to foster a conversation. Ask follow-up questions. Answer their questions, but include another question for them to answer. Keep your responses open-ended to allow for more responses. This is especially important in your Facebook group because others can jump in, and then when they ask their questions, more comments come up and there's a full conversation for the group. When you create an engagement post or email, be sure to include a call to action. A great CTA does not need to be complicated. It just needs to be straightforward. So like hit reply, comment below, click this button, sign up using this link. Let your audience know that you're here to answer questions or chat about what they're currently struggling with. This goes back to the how can I help? Engagement posts don't always have to be directly related to your offer or even your business. Their purpose is to spark a conversation so that you can get to know your audience better and they can get to know you. Asking engagement questions in email does the same thing. A CTA of hit reply invites your subscribers to interact with you on a one-to-one basis. Some subscribers feel way more comfortable doing this than posting in your Facebook group and will be so happy that they get your direct attention. This is a great time to offer subscription choices to your email list to find out more about them and what they want to know from you. I specialize in productivity mindset, goal setting, marketing strategy, and project planning, but I'm willing to bet I have some subscribers who only want to know about marketing strategy. I can easily send an email asking what they're most interested in with a button for each choice, and then add them to a segment so they only receive emails about that topic going forward. The more you know about each other, the better your relationship becomes, and the more trust they will have in you. And trust, of course, leads to loyalty. Your loyal audience is the most likely to buy from you. To keep them loyal, you need to continue providing super valuable free content to them based on personalizations. That sounds like a lot of work, right? Well, yeah, it could be. But here's the thing. If you take all the steps we just talked about, you should know exactly what your audience wants. You know what they enjoy, what they want more of, and what additional pain points they might have. You can start with a general topic based on those and tweak it for each segment. If you're writing all your content on your own, I highly recommend not to have more than 2 main segments, or you will go absolutely insane trying to write content for each person. You cannot please everyone, and you specifically should not cater to your unengaged subscribers. I mean, how could you if they haven't told you what they want? All right, so now you've gone through the whole funnel. You continue to provide content to your audience, and then you just bring it right back to the top every time you find new pain points. The next thing I want to talk about is exactly how to use this in a real life situation. So I'm going to give you an example of how this worked for me in the past. First, let's take a look at this checklist I put together. It basically just runs through everything we just talked about, and you're going to get a link to this to download for yourself. So you basically just go through each section of the funnel and then what you need to do for each part of this. Now, if you look at the timeline, you'll notice that a lot of these overlap. This is because this is kind of a cyclical process. You know, it's funny that funnels always start from the top and trickle down to sales, but you're constantly doing these things over and over. You have to keep that in mind when you're planning out your timeline and your project as a whole. As I mentioned when we started, my goal is to promote my new offer by using the relationship funnel, not just by using this training to get awareness, but actually following the steps. But since this is a new offer, I don't have any results to make my current plan really credible. So I'm going to tell you about how I've done this in the past with excellent results. For several years, I was a freelance graphic designer. I had clients here and there, but it wasn't until I decided to create packages that my business really took off. My first offer was a social media package. It was a fairly low price point, but something I could bang out easily for any of my clients. I started by creating an opt-in for a free customizable Canva template of 10 Facebook posts. I shared this on my business page, personal Facebook page, in Facebook groups that I was a member of, and my email list. Anyone who signed up to receive the template was put into a welcome email sequence. I invited them to follow me on Instagram, where I posted my favorite designs, and to view my online portfolio. I added tags to those links and started segmenting my audience into engaged and unengaged subscribers. I sent a follow-up email asking what they thought of the templates and if they would like more. The email was very simple. What do you think? Followed by buttons that said, I love these templates, please send me more. And the templates were okay, but I didn't use them. Those buttons were tagged, so I knew who was interested in more and who wasn't. The ones who wanted more got more right away. I sent an additional 4 Facebook templates, and I asked them what other social media they use, again with tag buttons so I could further segment them. If they selected Instagram, they received 4 Instagram templates, the same for Pinterest, and if they selected the button that said Instagram and Pinterest, they got all the templates. For the subscribers who selected the templates were okay, but I didn't use them, I asked them why. Most said they just hadn't had a chance. One person told me they sucked. For those who said they hadn't had a chance, I asked if they were interested in templates for other social networks and put them through the same sequence as the first group. I also asked on my Facebook page and in some Facebook groups what social networks people were most interested in. I sent a private message to anyone who responded with a sign-up link for the templates. Those sign-ups, again, were put into the same sequence of emails. Providing so much for free gained the trust of my audience. My emails also included tips on how to use Canva and some ideas for different types of social posts. At the end of every email, I told my subscribers to hit reply if they had any questions and asked them to tag me whenever they posted one of their templates so I could see how they used it. Every time a subscriber did that, I was immediately engaged with their audience and could use that to grow my own. Before I even had a chance to promote my package, I had subscribers asking if they could hire me. I was able to upsell most of those subscribers to my branding package. I continued to provide content to my email list to prime them for additional services with things like the power of brand awareness, color theory, creating mood boards, and why style guides are important. When it came time to promote my other packages, I had a strong list that was already well engaged. I learned 2 important things from this experience. Keep asking questions, and don't forget to tell people you're for hire. Speaking of being for hire, let me take a minute to introduce you to my new one-to-one consulting package. It's called Making Plans from Overwhelmed to Lady with a Plan in just 3 weeks. This is a 3-week program that will bring your digital marketing vision to life with a tailored project plan. But if you look at this slide, it's really more than 3 weeks because you get 2 additional check-in calls and a retrospective call. So these calls come after the initial 3-week period ends. The check-in calls will make sure you're still on track, and then a retrospective will be scheduled for the end of your project so that you can see what went right, what went wrong, and what changes you can make. You're also going to have access to me via email and chat throughout the entire time, from the first session through the retrospective. So what we'll cover in the first 3 calls is defining your goals, discovering what your productivity blocks might be. Once we define your goals, we're going to plan out your project based on that. And then we will set things into a timeline where we will identify the milestones. And this is where the check-in calls come into play. We'll choose certain deadlines along your timeline, and those will coincide with the check-in calls. You're also going to receive bonus materials like hiring a freelancer checklist, helping your clients with change, some sample budgets, prioritizing your goals and projects. Of course, this relationship funnel is included, and you're going to get a project planning checklist. I also have a website planning checklist. There's going to be more stuff in there. So if you're interested in more information, you can go to this link with kdb.com/services and find out everything that's included in this and a little bit more about me. And if you have any questions about this training or my new offer, put them in the comments. I am going to follow up with each and every single comment, and if we have multiple questions of the same, then I might just do a Facebook Live to answer all of those. Thank you so much for watching and mostly listening. I hope you got some great ideas for your next project.